Okay, we're live, as it were. Everyone? That's just such an easy way to get applause. I love it. Found my mark and everything. All right, so welcome, everybody. We're ready for the concert to start. Please turn off your cell phones and welcome Jesus.
Hello everyone, my name is Jesus. I will be performing the Star Spangled Banner on sousaphone.
Jesus is a member of our applied music program, as well as a number of all the students are going to hear perform for you today. So we're excited to have them performing. And if you hadn't guessed already or seen the theme of today's concert, is music intended for political reasons, but for national identity. So you're going to be hearing a number of national anthems today, sung by students from the countries of their heritage. They'll tell you a little bit about them and give you a translation. And you want to think about some of the things that they have in common. A lot of national anthems, are to be sung together, as we did. So you might have felt your oxytocin levels rising a little bit, the love hormone, which happens to us when we sing in a group. Professor Carlos can tell you, being in his choir, if you want more of it, you can join his choir. But it brings along a sense of community and empathy and so on, the rising of those hormones inside us, right? So national anthems are designed not only to express the qualities of the particular nation, but to do that, to bring communities together. It's also tricky sometimes singing them, like what key do you sing them in? I had to drop down the octave a couple times on that, right? It's hard to know like where it's going to fit. So those can be difficult. Sometimes they can be easy to sing. Sometimes they can be difficult to sing. So keep that in mind when you listen to them. Also keep in mind what the words are saying. A lot of times national anthems have words that are talking about the actual land, the mountains and the sky and the ocean, or the community or the hope of the people. These are very, very common themes in national anthems. So listen for those if you will. That's enough for me. I'm going to turn it over to Mia Flay. So Mia is also in our applied program, and this is her instructor, Randy Drake, and they're going to tell you a little bit about what they're going to perform for you today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mia. I'm a percussion student here at LAVC. Me and my instructor are going to play music of Peru on cajones. This instrument was developed in Peru in the 16th century during the period of slavery, where slaves used to play fruit boxes as a musical instruments to subvert the Spanish colonial bans on music in predominantly African areas, essentially disguising their instruments. Then, due to the influence of Peru Negro, which is musical ensemble, Peruvian musical ensemble, was founded in 1969, the cajon became very, more and more important and became an essential part in Peruvian music and has become part of their national identity. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm Randy, and of course I'm Mia's instructor. And we kind of retitled this event today by saying it's music and instruments for political expression, national identity. Because we're not actually playing a national anthem, but the cajon, literally translated, means crate, similarly to what Mia mentioned as fruit boxes. And little by little over time along the Peruvian coast, the cajon became a part of the creation of rhythms such as the festeo and tandeo, which are favorites at local festivals. The Peruvian cajon has its own day marked in the calendar, and it's where its cultural richness is celebrated August 2nd every year. And Afro-Peruvian musician Rafael Santa Cruz says that, quote, Peru has an official history that excludes Afro-Peruvians from their country's past. There's also a lack of recognition of their contribution. In the case of the cajon, this contribution is clear, convincing, and indisputable, end quote. As irony would have it, Spain would be pivotal in the revival of the cajon in 1977, so it has a much later history as something actually Peruvian. But thanks to musicians like Paco de Lucia, they were playing flamenco in Spain, and this instrument became integral to that. But the problem is people started to think, oh, it's always been in Spain, it is of Spanish origin. Thus, the people of Peru, especially Afro-Peruvians, decided to reclaim and work to reclaim the instrument's identity for themselves. The cajon is a real and vital element in the resistance of Afro-Peruvians, and in 2001, the cajon was declared a national heritage by the Peruvian National Institute of Culture. And here's the most important part about this instrument, in that by recognizing the cajon as national heritage, for the first time in history, its makers, Afro-Peruvians, were also able to forge for themselves a national identity. That's the cool part about this instrument. So we're going to perform a traditional rhythm of Peruvian music for you. One.
Mio Asakura, and today I'm going to sing the national anthem of Japan. And this song is called Kimi ga Yo. And this is actually, the lyrics are actually from these waka poems from a really long time ago, from the Heian periods of Japan, like year 950. And this song wishes for everlasting longevity. And I will be singing a cappella. Kimi ga yo wa chiyo ni yachiyo ni sasare ishi no iwa to narite koke no musu made kimi ga yo wa chiyo ni yachiyo ni sasare ishi no iwa to narite koke no musu made. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Aguilar, and today I'll be singing the Guatemalan national anthem. And I'm gonna give you a translation of it. It was written by Jose Joaquin Palma, and it was composed by Rafael Alvarez Ovalle. It is named Happy Guatemala, and it starts, Happy Guatemala, that your altars never profane the executioner, nor are there slaves who lick the joke, nor tyrants who spit on your face. If tomorrow is your sacred ground threatened by foreign invasion, free to win your beautiful flag. To win or to die he will call. Free to win your beautiful flag. To win or to die he will call. That your people with fierce soul rather die than slave will be. Of your old and hard chains, your forged with angry hand, the plow that fertilizes the soil, and the sword that saves the honor. Our fathers fought one day, lit up in native burning, and they succeeded without a bloody clash, place you in a throne of love. And they succeeded without a bloody clash, place you in a throne of love. That on homeland and an energetic accent, they gave life to the redemptive ideal. It is your sign of peace of heaven, in which a cloud catches its whiteness. And of the one who with blind madness your colors, if intended to stain. For your brave and haughty sons, who venerate peace as a prize, they never dodge to flight. If they defend their land and their home, they never dodge the rough fight. If they defend their land and their home, that it is only honoring your sole idea, and the altar of the homeland is altar. Lying on the proud walk, from to cease a sound noise, under the wind of scarlet and gold, you fall asleep from the beautiful quetzal. Indian bird that lives in your shield, Palladium that protects your soil. I hope that her flight will be go up more than the condor and the golden eagle. I hope you fly back more than the condor and the royal eagle, and on its wings lift up to the sky, Guatemala, your immortal name. Guatemala, feliz que tus aras no profane jamás el verdugo, ni hay esclavos que laman el yugo, ni tiranos que escupan tu faz. Si mañana tu suelo sagrado lo amenaza invasión extranjera, libra el viento tu hermosa bandera, a vencer o a morir llamará. Libra el viento tu hermosa bandera, a vencer o a morir llamará. Que tu pueblo con ánima fiera, antes muertos que esclavos serán. De tus viejas y duras cadenas, tú forjaste con mano iracunda el arado que el suelo fecunda, y la espada que salva el honor. Nuestros padres lucharon un día, encendidos en patrio ardimiento, y lograron sin choque sangriento colocarte en un trono de amor. Y lograron sin choque sangriento colocarte en un trono de amor, que de patria en enérgico acento dieron vida al ideal redentor. Esto enseña pedazo de cielo en que prende una nube su albura, y ay de aquel que con ciega locura tus colores pretenda manchar. Pues tus hijos valientes y altivos que veneran la Pascua al presea, nunca esquiva la ruda pelea, si defiende su tierra y su hogar. Nunca esquiva la ruda pelea, si defiende su tierra y su hogar, que es tan solo el honor su alma idea, y el altar de la patria su altar. Recostada en el ande soberbio de dos mares al ruido sonoro, bajo el ala de grana y de oro, te adormeces del bello quetzal. Ave indiana que vive en tu escudo, paladeón que protege su suelo, ojalá que remonte su vuelo más que el cóndor y el águila real. Ojalá que remonte su vuelo más que el cóndor y el águila real, y en sus alas levanta hasta el cielo. Guatemala, tu nombre inmortal. Thank you.
All right, since I am of Northern Germanic heritage, more specifically Scandinavia, I'm going to be singing for you the national anthem of Sweden. And the translation for this part of it is, "You ancient, free, and mountainous north of quiet, joyful beauty. I greet you, loveliest land on earth. Oh, may I live, may I die in the north." Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord, du trista, du glädjerika sköna. Jag hälsar dig, vänaste land, och jag vill leva, jag vill dö i Norden. Och jag vill leva, jag vill dö i Norden. So Dr. Garvey and I would like to share one other piece with you, and this goes back to some of you may have been there when we performed a few pieces from the Andre expedition, which was a story of 3 Swedish explorers who tried to reach the North Pole in a hydrogen balloon, and they unfortunately were not successful. So in this part of the story, the pieces you heard to begin with were the beginning of the journey and the excitement. At this point in the story, things are not going very well for these 3 explorers, but it happens to fall, this song, on Jubilee Day, which was the day that the King of Sweden rose to the throne. And so they wanted to celebrate out on their expedition the King's Jubilee. And it's September 18th. And they were even given a bottle of fancy wine to take with them by the king himself, who they could open it at that time and celebrate their country. Hopefully, they would have been standing on the North Pole and would have been able to celebrate Jubilee Day. However, that didn't come to pass. So what I'd like you to listen for are a couple of things in this piece. One is, besides the idea of singing national anthems as they are, for what they are, composers often will incorporate them into other works to send a message, if you will, of either patriotism or something in this particular case. So you'll listen near the end of the song for a quote from the national anthem that I just sung you. But I'd also like you to listen to something that Argento does. Argento was a very skillful composer and used lots of compositional techniques to get his message across. And one of them was, although this particular piece is in general in the key of A flat, I could ask Dr. Garvey to play an A flat scale, right? In the key of A flat in general, he has a moment where he deviates from that and plays a passage that is not in any key at all. It is what we call atonal. And composers use this technique, this serial technique, or they would write what are called tone rows, which instead of what establishes a key in music is you returning often to the home place, the A flat, or harmonies lead back to A flat so that we get a sense of, oh, this is in A flat. Well, composers needed to come up with techniques if they were going to write music that was atonal. Well, how do you do that? Because I can't repeat notes or they're going to think we're in A flat. So they devised this technique where they would create a tone row that has to sound all 12 pitches in the scale before another one can be repeated. So because of that, no one pitch gets singled out, so we don't have any sense of what key it's in. So I'm going to ask Dr. Garvey then to play this short tone row for you, and you can listen to what it sounds like when there's no sense of home. Right, so it sort of leaves you wondering. It's mysterious, we don't know where it's going. So now, as we perform the piece for you, listen to when the national anthem comes back and see if you can listen for that tone row as well. September 18, a beautiful day, the King's Jubilee, a lucky day for us. We had the Swedish flag hoisted, then finished the day with a ceremonial meal, then with a fine port, Antonia de Ferrara, 1834, given to us by the King himself. We drank the King's health in royal hurrahs, and in unison we sang, Tugam ladu fria, du fiel huganu. The general feeling was one of the greatest good cheer as we lay down, satisfied and contented. Ak ja fileva, ja fil du in Norden. Ak ja fileva, ja fil du in Norden.
My name is Shireen Sayed, and today I'll be singing for you the Philippines National Anthem. It's called Lupang Hinirang, which means Land of the Morning. It was composed by Jose Felipe in 1898, and the lyrics were adopted from a Spanish poem, Jose Palma, a year later, 1899. And so in 1958, the Tagalog lyrics were implemented. The translation from the Tagalog, which is a national language of the Philippines, is Land of the morning, child of the sun returning, with fervor burning, of thee do our souls adore. Land dear and holy, cradle of noble heroes, never shall invaders trample thy sacred shores. Ever within thy skies and through the clouds and over thy hills and seas, do we behold the radiance, feel the throb of glorious liberty. Thy banner dear to all our hearts, its sun and stars alight. Oh, never shall its shining light. Oh, never shall its shining fields be dimmed by tyrant's might. Beautiful land of love, land of light, in thine embrace 'tis rapture to lie, but its glory ever when thou art wronged for us, thy sons, to suffer and die. I'm wearing some of the colors of the Philippine national flag. Blue represents peace, truth, and justice. Red for patriotism and valor. White for equality and fraternity. And yellow is on my waist. Sun represents liberty. It was designed by Emilio Aguinaldo, who was the first youngest president of the Philippines at age 29. He also had this flag at 1898, the same year this national anthem was created. So it was an instrumental in the beginning, and it was used as a march for these soldiers who were fighting for their freedom from Spain. They were under 300 years of under the Spanish rule. So keep in mind, this is a march as you hear this song, and I'm gonna be singing the words though. Here is Lupang Hinirang. I just put these cards away. Bayang magiliw, perlas na silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula, sa awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagning-ning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupang ng araw ng luwalhati pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may maaami, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Bayang magiliw, perlas na silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula, ang awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagning-ning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di matiitilim. Lupang ng araw ng luwalhati pagsinta, buhay ang langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may manami, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
6. For our last number, two more students from our Applied program. Well, Jesus, you've heard already. This is Diana Ailman, who plays trumpet. And this is a little preview, actually, of a concert in a couple of weeks when we're going to be talking about music that's used for spiritual purposes. So they're going to play a piece for you that falls into that category. But we thought it would be great to include them on this program since they both play brass instruments.
Hello, my name is Diana Lemon, and today we're going to be playing Amazing Grace. And, yeah, that's Jesus.
Thank you.